Welcome to another Hard Summer playthrough that I'll be doing. This time, we're going to be doing Australia. Why? Because it's fun. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, for this playthrough, I will be trying to do something a little bit more interesting, and, well, I'm not really sure compared to what, but yeah, I'll be trying to do something interesting and actually turning Australia communist. Because all of the Australia playthroughs that I've seen have turned them fascist, so why not turn them communist? And before we start, I'll just quickly go over a few points. I'm using a national focus mod. You can find it in the Steam Workshop. I'll link it in the description. It's a little bit overpowered, not entirely so, but it's a little bit overpowered, and I'll be actually kind of restraining myself from using some of the more overpowered things that I'll show you later. But yeah. We'll need the help, don't worry. Then I'm using another mod called Improved Equipment, which adds a whole bunch of equipment changes to both infantry and also a little bit of armor, mostly focused on actually sort of improving units' performance in certain terrains, especially here in clothing. You can see you can research winter and very hot climate clothing. And then I'm using another mod called, I think, Commonwealth Flavor, which essentially just adds names to equipment of Commonwealth countries. So as you can see, we've got our own named tanks, named artillery, and that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of useful. No mods for industry, nothing else, just those, and then of course a few other mods that, in case you're wondering, you could just ask me. So let's get started without any further ado. Now, definitely in this national focus, the most overpowered thing is over here, where you choose your political tree. If you're going the quote-unquote democratic tree, even though that doesn't really give you any democratic things, unlike the left and right trees, these ones give you, of course, communist and fascist support, whereas here there's nothing about democracy, but yeah, whatever. Essentially, this make the island states. This is OP. This is absolutely overpowered because essentially what you do is you annex New Zealand over here. And then over here you gain cores on a whole bunch of things that you don't have cores on, such as beginning. And that's kind of overpowered because then later on you also get more focuses to actually improve those areas. So that is overpowered, just to say the least, and I'm not going to use it. I could just go down here, take all these, and then turn communist anyway, but I'm not going to do that, because that would be definitely like cheating, absolutely cheating. So I'm just going to go with more political power. The other ones are just normal ones. The Navy and Air Force ones are basically the same ones as the standard one, the standard focus tree, and the Army one, it's a little similar. It's got a few more bonuses in terms of special forces, and actually got a few very nice modifiers, such as the specific tactics, which improves your organization and reduces your attrition for fighting more in islands. So it's kind of useful, but not ridiculously so. So in terms of technology, I'll be trying to focus on industry for the beginning because we will need that. I've got a fair amount of industry to start off with. We've got 6 usable civilian factories, 11 in total, and 6 military factories, so that's not bad at all. And then in terms of Navy, we've got 2 dockyards. Australia can build a pretty decent Navy, actually. I'll put 1 dockyard on convoys, and I'll just keep that there for the whole game, and then I'll put 1 on destroyers, because we will need destroyers to patrol our sort of nearby waters. Will be very useful. In terms of army, Australia's main problem is going to be manpower, so we will see what we can do about this. And the mod does add a couple of generals, I believe, the focus tree mod, and definitely adds an admiral. So yeah, we don't have any submarines, it seems like, not yet. No, we don't. So I'll just put this 1 squadron under the command of this guy. In terms of Air Force, we've only got a few close air support planes. I believe I'll be sending them out here, because my first target is going to probably be the Netherlands. And then in terms of army, I'll just leave my troops where they are. I'll reorganize them later when I'm actually building something. And then for constructions, I'll be going first for some civilian factories. Actually, no, not all these civilian factories. I just need a few so that I can get up to 15 in terms of civilian factories, so I can pretty much build everything faster. That's pretty much all that I want to do, and then I'll build some military factories. For production, I'll be focusing on some equipment, then motorized, because I'll need hospitals and I'll need later on motorized troops, then anti-tank, because I've got anti-tank in my divisions, and support equipment. Later on, I'll start producing some tanks, probably, and likely artillery as well. Very important, so I'll actually do that as well. And then after that, tanks. This will of course be after I start to actually what's the word? After I start to build factories so that I can have some extras, and then naval bombers. It will take a while to actually fill these out, but once they will be in pretty good shape in terms of production. Low manpower, I know. Other than that, it seems to be fine. Australia's pretty well off in terms of resources, so we don't have to trade that much. And for training, I won't train any units because I need my manpower. I really need it. And yeah, I'll just start. Missing equipment production. Alright, there's some mod, one of my mods, that actually changes the template of my infantry divisions for some reason. I'm guessing it's the AI research and division tweaks, but I'll definitely eliminate a few of these things in my divisions because they're just too big and I don't need all those, especially the anti-air. That's not very useful at all. And I'll be going for the political power focus first because of course I want to get a communist dude as quickly as possible. And I'll just be breezing through the start, nothing too weird. Now for the army organization, I'll try to have a sort of backup force in Australia to defend the ports, because I don't want anyone landing here. There's one port over here, one over here, then one, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. So I'm gonna need 8 divisions to protect my coastline, and then I can have a couple of divisions in New Guinea to protect that. I don't need to protect every port there. Now, for the political power, that's gonna be good. I'm gonna do strengthen the wide Australia policy. Well, that's a little bit ridiculous that you need to do that to go communist, but I'll just do it anyway, and I'll go for communist revolutionary. Because then what this will do is it will decrease democratic support, and then leaving the Commonwealth, which is the next one, will gain us popularity in both communist and fascist. So we will essentially just have a pretty good start to our political makeup. Will help us a little bit in terms of that. Then the next one, in terms of advisors, will probably be silent workhorse, because I will need the extra political power later on. Rip Ethiopia. That was not very long at all. One problem for Australia is that they don't have any army theorists. You only have naval and air, so yeah, that's not going to be too great in terms of that. What the shit? Oh, this is still on. Okay. Well, that's my bad. This is a mod called, I think, Enhanced Industry and Leaders, something like that, which essentially just adds a whole bunch of sort of manufacturers of equipment to Soviet Union, Germany, France, essentially the major countries, and minor countries get these, go here, for aircraft they get these licensed sort of companies, which do give you some very good bonuses. Unfortunately, you need to complete aviation effort, which is in the standard, of course, tree. And we don't have that, so we won't be able to use it. And I thought I actually disabled that mod for that exact reason, but I guess it's up. So leaving the Commonwealth will actually leave the Allies. So we will be kind of alone in terms of foreign policy and that kind of stuff. Now, Spanish Civil War, I would really like to intervene, but unfortunately it will likely be over before I can actually do it, because probably, yeah, Germans and the Italians have already sent troops to nationalist Spain, so it will likely be very quick and very painful for for Republican Spain, so they'll die very quickly. And that does seem like it's going to be the case. And even if I could go down the focus tree to we go Republican intervention over here, even if I could do it in time, I would not have enough troops because I need 30 divisions on the field to just to send volunteers to anywhere. Now, political power gain will be good. Next one will be industry, and I'm actually going to actually going to exercise my troops. Construction. Excavation is pretty good for Australia, but it's very imperative that I actually start the land doctrines as quickly as possible. Now, Australia has a problem, manpower, and one way to fix that would be to go mass mobilization. Now, mass mobilization is not the best tree, though. That is the main problem. I would really like to go for it, just to get more recruitable population, but I won't do it. Now, for other focuses, I would really like Deep Battle, and I would also kind of like Superior Firepower. Superior Firepower is always pretty good, so I think I'll go Superior Firepower, because the other one over here, Grand Battle Plan, is not the best. I can just go for this one, because it just increases everything. It's just really good. And thanks to our pretty decent amount of industries to start off with, we can pretty much quickly build what we need. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty good. Especially thanks to the construction tech. Now, leaving the Commonwealth is going to be a problem in some ways, but also a good thing in other ways. Now, we've completed all that we can do for now in this political tree, because to go left, we need to actually have a non-aligned or communist political party, which means that we're going to need to wait for that. In terms of the other focuses, I will definitely want to go with a lot of military ones, but then, first off, industry is going to be the most important. The military ones will be more useful later on. Now, the Communist Partisans' national spirit is going to give us more communist support, so that's going to be good. It's going to decrease our recruitable population, though, which is not very good, but meh. Not by too much, only 0.2%, which is not exactly too bad. Now, we need this army experience to actually edit our troops to have less things, which is not exactly what you usually have. And then I'm actually going to also reduce this logistics company, because I don't really need it, and I'll replace it probably with Signal later on. Now, we have established the Defense Resources Board, which is going to give us some industry research. Next up, I'll actually go for some arms factories. Expansion of Lithgow Arms Factory. Yeah. No, I have no idea where Lithgow is. I know jack squat about Australia pretty much, so yeah. My cavalry divisions will be turned into police divisions. We will need them likely for this part of the area. Now, oh, already, now, okay, Australian People's Republic. That was quick. Only at 50% we already have the election or the referendum, and so now we're communist. Now, in terms of this, what's gonna mean for us? We're gonna likely go after the Netherlands first, because they've got a lot of possessions out here, which is gonna be fairly good. And then I'm gonna go after Thailand and China. For China, in terms of China, we can actually already boost the popularity of communists, which is gonna be good, because at the end of the political tree, here we go, there is ideological fanaticism, which is exactly the same as the vanilla one. You can create factions, and you can do kamikaze, and you can get a whole bunch of attack in your territory. So what I'm gonna do, in terms of what I plan to do, is have a strong communist China and ally with them. That is one of my sort of plans for the playthrough. And then in terms of out here, New Zealand, they are in the allies, so I cannot do much to them for now, but I'll definitely be looking at taking over this area fairly soon. Well, fairly soon. Eventually, once the allies are busy in a war against the Axis. Yeah, that's the end of Republic of Spain. That did not last very long. Even if I would have had the time to go after some Republican intervention, I wouldn't have been able to. Now, industrial concern is going to be important, because of the need for industry tech, very important. And to take out the Netherlands out here, we'll need some marine divisions. So eventually we'll have to start researching out here marines, just down here, because yeah, that's gonna be very important. Wow, that's a lot of world tension already, due to the peace treaty. And I'm gonna keep one of these focused on industry pretty much all the time, and then another one focused on doctrines most of the time. The research slots industry are fund the CISR, the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, and then the Radiophysics Advisory Board, which requires 50 factories, so that's gonna be in a while. And then the technology sharing, which requires being at war and being in a faction, so that will take a while. So I'll be going after some civilian factories now, and the first research slot, because that's going to be very important for us. Otherwise, we're going to be running out of things in terms of research slots. Now, I can also build some things out here, which I forgot to do. So I'm just very good. Okay, gonna fill that out just a little bit. Yeah, we don't need any air bases for now, so that's gonna be fine. Actually, no. I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna need some extra dockyards down here, because the Navy is gonna be very important for Australia. Oh, they're doing the purge already. Oh, that's good. Don't want a weak Soviet Union if I'm going communist. I'm not going to be joining the Comintern, I'm going to be making my own faction. I'm going to leave the Comintern to the Soviets. They can do what they want with it, don't really care. Move the logistics company. So for infantry, we're pretty fine. This is a pretty good infantry division. Actually, a really good infantry division. It's got a huge amount of artillery, and that's the way I like it. I like infantry divisions with a lot of artillery. Now, for reorganizing the army, I'll send one division out here to Townsville. Townsville. Only Australia can name a town Townsville, please. And then one more division out here to Darwin, I believe that is. Yes, that is Darwin. And I'm gonna put some more divisions in training now that I've reinforced and equipped the ones that were already there. Now, I've got one in Canberra out here. That's not really doing anything. And I'll set this one to Adelaide. Not really sure how I'm supposed to say that. Then the next division is going to be sent to Tasmania. Then to Melbourne, because I've got a Cav division over here that's going to be shipped off to Java once we take that over. And then this city, Brisbane. Yeah, Brisbane, whatever the hell. And then the ones after that are gonna be motorized and Marines, which are gonna be my attacking force, because I'm gonna be looking to mostly have the Marines for the island hopping sort of part of the campaign, especially in the Indonesia area. So we're starting to roll on the industry side of things, which is awesome, but we're gonna need more than that. I'm gonna fill off that with factories and dockyards. I'm gonna put reinforcements as my main priority. We definitely need a lot of artillery for our army, so I'm gonna go into production and put that as a two factories, so that when we get more military factories, we can actually produce more artillery, because that's gonna be very, very useful. Now, for research, since we've already got that, we can go for a backroom backstabber to increase our political power gain again. I didn't want to do it before I actually switched to communist because I didn't want the ideology drift defense modifier, but now it's fine. So just having that extra political power will help us. And I'm gonna actually support communist and Siam as well. And what this is gonna do in China, supporting communist, is actually going to give territories to communist China. So that's why I'm doing it, in case you have, encountered that mechanic yet. The excavation techs aren't that important. The only thing they're essentially doing is giving us more civilian factories, because of the fact that we do have a fair few amount of resources. If we go to the trade, we've got a lot of rubber, a lot of oil, and a lot of tungsten actually, and steel. So eventually we're going to want to get them to get more resources, and by that way gain more civilian factories from people trading with us. So that's going to be the main reason to do that. But for now, it's not a priority. Main priority is going to be to get our doctrines up to shape, especially land and naval, actually. Maybe saying why naval? Well, we're surrounded by sea, and we're going to have a good navy. So it's going to be very important. So if you have a huge navy, but then no navy doctrines, that's pretty bad. Marco Polo Bridge incident. So it looks like there's going to be a war in China fairly soon. So it's good that we're supporting communists, so that communist China can be as strong as possible to not get completely smashed by Japan. It's going to be lucky if they don't get smashed. Actually, once we have we have a fair amount of divisions, I could actually change my symbol. I'm gonna make it a red star because I'm a communist. I'm evil. I'm gonna have a red star. And then, yeah, once we've got a fair amount of divisions, we can actually send some volunteers to help China. That could be useful. Now, since we've got no problems out here, we'll be going for some more electronics tech. Electronics is... what the fuck? What is this? I'm guessing it's the improved equipment mod. Okay, yeah, that's fine. What does that do? Partisans, disperse. Okay, that's not very useful. I'm not gonna do that. That's a waste of research. Now, yeah, back on track. What I was about to say on the electronics tech, it's going to be very important because of the research speed and also the decryption and encryption techs. The radar would be nice, but we're not going to have the research to get that as well. Radio is, of course, hugely important. Though not as much as for some other countries, because our army is not going to be that big to require that many. I'm stupid today. To require that many divisions that we're going to need a lot of reinforcement rate. So yeah, where am I looking for? Okay, I want them to actually deploy here. What is Japan doing? Chinese puppet. Oh, I hope they don't accept. Because if they do accept, then the events that give territories to Communist China won't happen. So I don't want that to happen. In case you're wondering, historical focus is off. So crazy stuff ahoy, pretty much. We could go for some conscription, actually. I cannot... I can also partially mobilize because I'm communist. Right. So yeah, limited conscription. Can I do extensive? No, I would need more political power. Limited is gonna be fine. Some more manpower is gonna be welcome. No. Bad. Southern infrastructure, so I'm gonna found the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research to gain some extra research slots. That's gonna be pretty much crucial, because having 2 slots in the beginning just kind of drags you down a lot, and that's not exactly the best thing ever. Now, for mechanical computing, that's gonna be a very, very long research. After that, we'll be going for the No, that's not correct. After that, we'll be going for radio, and then the 1939 industry techs, and after that, we'll be going after infantry equipment and artillery, because we're gonna need that. And you might be saying, well, why are you producing these tanks? Armored vehicles. Why are you producing these tanks? You don't have any armored templates. Yeah, well, later on I'm gonna make a motorized division template with armor in it. Oh, that was... okay, so they refused the puppet offer, so that's really good. And there goes the United Front, so everything is annexed into China. It's good. That's good because it's gonna give us more territories to actually give to China. And for Thailand, we're just looking to actually gain an extra alliance partner. That's all that we're looking for them. There's no point in funding communists in any other of the countries around. Now, for this, I might actually want to go for Republican intervention. Yeah, I might actually want to do that. And it's also going to give us a lot of political power if we go down this tree, so yeah, it's good. Ooh, right, they're on the United Front, so unless China dies, I'm not going to be able to invite them in our faction. Well, that's a problem, but it's a problem we can resolve eventually. I could go for the cruiser tank. Yeah, that sounds fine. With this third research slot, we're going for equipment and that kind of stuff, because that's going to be very important. Looks like Italy is going for Yugoslavia. Ooh, Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact already. Wow, that's pretty good for the Soviet Union. If they actually justify on the Baltic states, then yeah, it's going to be awesome. And they actually sent volunteers to China and Communist China. So yeah, great. I'm actually going to do a non-aggression pact with them, because that pretty much is free. There's really no reason not to do that. I'm going to do a non-aggression pact with Communist China as well. I could lend-lease them some fighters, actually, to help them out, but that's likely to not really do that much. I could lend-lease infantry equipment to gain some extra army experience. Yeah, I'm gonna lend lease them some infantry equipment. How about, so we're producing 2 a day, so that's about 60 a month. So how about 20 a month? Yeah. I'm gonna lend lease them some rifles. I'm not sure if they need them, but certainly not gonna be too bad for them. No. What can we do also? Modify the lend lease. No, don't give a shit. And yeah, as you can see, they've already started to take over some territories, in this case Henan from Nationalist China, and oh, Mingupo has capitulated. That's good. So it looks like our Chinese friends are doing okay. That's exactly how we like it. Go left is completed. Awesome. And we're doing this because we're gonna gain political power from this. Oh, right. I cannot send volunteer forces because, yeah, that's a problem. Because the Republicans are dead. Right. So I cannot actually do that. The main reason I would do that is because it decreases my divisions required for sending volunteer forces by 50%. So if we go to China right now, send volunteers, we need at least 30 divisions, so that would reduce it to 15, which would be a reachable amount with our sort of current army setup, but yeah, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, I knew that, and yeah, I'm stupid. I'll go for political correctness. Which is, well, the most controversially named national focus ever, because the reasoning I'm going for these is because it's going to increase our political power, and it's going to give us some national spirits or whatever, and then we're going to do ideological fanaticism. And after that, I'm going to be looking to get some more armaments factories and some more construction efforts underway. Now, delay is going to be good. Mobile defense is going to be even better. Is there something gaining us? That's the end of the episode. So that was the first one. I'll be joining you right after this one with some more Hearts of Iron for Australia. Keep in mind that this is not the most blind playthrough, but it's also fairly blind, so I'm going to be making a lot of mistakes in the future. So yes, I'll be seeing you in the next one, just after right now. I'll just record another one, so I'll see you then.